Hey Human, welcome to the GAC RMHC Golf Classic. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through, put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all take a look at your posture. We can see that your spine is nice and straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball. So ideally, obviously what we'd like to do with your spinal position, obviously get it in a little bit more of an angled position. Keep your legs unlocked exactly as they are. Let the arms keep hanging down nice and naturally, and let the club work out to the ball. So just improving your spinal position would be ideal at address. Next thing we want to observe from this vantage point would have to do with your alignment. And what we can see here is you set up your feet whereby you drop your right foot considerably back, theoretically positioning in a closed stance. I've sort of seen this used as a drill where we drop our right foot back, hopefully helping us to come into the ball from a little bit more on plane. So we can't really look at that based on your alignment, and theoretically, hopefully if your right foot was sort of up in this direction here, then what we can see is your feet would be running in this direction. We carry that out towards the intended target. Parallel lines on camera would have the appearance of converging, so your club face would be theoretically set up sort of in that direction there, where we're just sort of meeting that little corner of the pond. At this point in time, we can go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. Now we've got some color-coded lines up on the screen just to use as visual reference. Obviously we can see his spine a little bit more angled than yours, what I was talking about with the posture, and obviously he's not dropping his right foot back. As we go ahead and take a look at the golf swing, simply want to create good shoulder rotation, draw the arms and hands back as well as the club. We want to see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. Through this vicinity here, we want to start to incorporate good wrist hinge where the club's going to transition from below now to above our hands, and then we're going to work the golf club from red up towards yellow. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we either want to get the golf club set with our left arm in the club situated on the yellow line, anywhere in between the yellow-blue V zone, or physically on blue. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we see Jordan Spieth, left arm and club are situated on the blue line. We have full shoulder rotation, and we do that about a very stable right leg. With you, as we watch you initiate your takeaway, we see the club obviously move a little bit underneath the swing plane, just a hair. Want to start to see some wrist hinge occur there so the club can recover, which it does. And when we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, you're in a pretty solid position here whereby you've rotated your shoulders very nicely. Stable right side, your arms are in good geometry relative to your core, club's in good position relative to your arms, and you're really setting your arms in a really nice position at the top of your backswing. As we create our transition back in the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right to our left, fire our knees and our hips to the target laterally, unwind the core and fire the hands, and doing so we need to bring the golf club from that blue-yellow V zone wherever we set it, and bring that golf club back down on top of red. As we can see here with Jordan Spieth, that's exactly what's happening. The golf club is returning right back to being on plane. At this point in time, we also want to pay attention to the relationship of the lead forearm and the golf club. And we can see that what we're doing here is we're creating what I refer to as a backwards check mark. Simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind our hands coming into the hitting zone, and this is ultimately what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing, let alone the ability to return the club back to plane as we already stipulated, which is ultimately also going to allow us to hit the ball straight. As we watch your transition back in the ball, unfortunately we see an over-the-top move. So the hands travel over the top down yellow, and obviously when the hands come over the top like that, it's going to have a major impact and influence on the club itself. And we can see with your club head here that the club is not returning back to an on-plane position. If we track the club coming into the golf ball, we're going to watch the club move further and further out in front of you here, and therefore it's coming in the ball too steep, and ultimately it's going to be attacking the ball from what we refer to as outside to inside. If I go ahead and just connect the dots here, we can get a very good visual as to what that descending plane was, and clearly it's very different than what we see with Jordan Spieth with his golf club returning back to plane here, and then approaching the golf ball directly from this red line from on plane. And as I stated before, this is ultimately what allows us to hit a straight golf shot in accordance to our alignment, assuming lastly that the club face squares up via having a good grip. At this point in time, we can take a look at the pass of the club. We can see with Jordan Spieth, his club is inside the ball, expands out to make contact, and then when the golf club moves through, it moves through on a nice, natural, subtle arc. With you, your club is stuck outside the ball, dropping down and across, making contact, and very simply, we're on a very, very different swing path. If the club face squares up to that swing path, very simply what's going to happen is we are going to pull the golf ball in that direction. If we over-release the club relative to that path, not only will we pull the ball, but we'll hit some form of a pull draw or pull hook. If we leave the club face massively open to that swing path, incredibly, we start the ball a little too far to the right. Obviously, in doing so, the club face was severely open. Now we've imparted left to right spin, or too much left to right spin, and we're going to hit this block slice. If we time it okay, then basically we'll start the ball a little bit right of where we're swinging, and then obviously the ball will have a little bit of left to right spin, and we'll be able to hit this nice little fade back on line. But really the end result of the golf shot is dictated based on the time in the club face, with the club swinging from outside, striking the ball and moving to the inside. If we happen to square the face, it follows red, and then obviously if we over-release the club, it continues to follow the little red arrows. If we leave the club face open, it follows blue, and if we time it properly, it'll follow green, and hopefully find our intended target. As we move through the golf shot, we can see that Jordan Spieth's right heel's off the ground. Watch the continued activity with that right foot as the heel comes further off the ground, up on the toe of the right foot. Allows us to get our weight to our left side, fully allowing our hips to square around, shoulders to fully rotate. The hands are high and the club's back in behind us. With you, what we see is excellent footwork through impact here. Unfortunately, as you continue to move through the golf ball, your left foot spins and you stay back on your right foot a little bit, helping you keep your balance. So you don't want to spin your left foot. You want to keep your left foot in the exact same position it was in address, right there. Swing through, get up off your right heel, up on your right toe. Keep your left foot there, and you can get through to a nice balanced finish like what we see on the left side of the screen with Jordan Spieth. Very clearly, you're moving through to a really nice finishing position here. You do have some nice athletic qualities with respect to your golf swing. Love how your hands move back and fire through. You coil, you uncoil. You got decent footwork that allows you to get through to a pretty good finish. You do need to improve that footwork though, so you don't fall over and lose your balance. And then at the end of the day, it really comes down to the fact that, you know, the biggest aspect of your dynamic move is the fact that when you get the golf club back, you come over the top, attack the ball from out to in, and at that point in time, you got to just leave the face open a little so you can hit a nice soft little fade. And if again you over-release it, it's going to go left. Under-release it, it's going to go too far right. So it does require a lot of timing on your part to be consistent. Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all and you're looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a great day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video.